Hey everybody. I had a whole bunch of time to kill today. Today's Labor Day. I basically had the day off, but I've been sitting in a truck stop all day, so if that's what you call a day off, I mean, it's whatever. Technically, I'm not driving, so I guess they call that a day off. I'm sitting here waiting for this guy to show up in the morning so we can swap trailers. I think the reason why I wanted to make this video was to talk about balance in your life, a balance of happiness and sadness, good days and bad days. Last week, for the first week I was starting this job, I was getting so stressed out because I'd never been out here and done this by myself. I mean, I sort of did hotshot years ago and I didn't know shit, and that was so hard. I mean, I didn't know nothing about trucking. But now, you know, I'm out here by myself now, and it's getting easier every day. I'm getting more used to it, so that's not bad. But if you're having like a really hard time right now in your life, no matter what kind of job you have or what you're doing, I want you to know it's not always going to be like that. And if you're waking up every day being like, this day's going to suck, I know it. Well, you can't do that, because if you know it's going to suck, then you're training your mind to make it suck. You know, you can't do that. You know, it's assuming things are always going to be bad is not the best thing to do. Training for them to be bad, training for things to go wrong is a good thing. Hoping and that's basically what you're doing. When you're assuming things are always going to go wrong, you're basically hoping it is. You know, and a lot of people are like that. I think a lot of people are just happily miserable because they like to complain about things. I mean, I'm not like that. I can't stand being around people like that. They drive me crazy. But I want you to know that you can't let your bad days outweigh your good days. And how do I say, every bad day you're going to have, I promise you, you're going to have a good day. It might not be the very next day, but it's going to happen. All you have to do is stay busy, stay focused, try to be positive, try to keep your eyes on the prize, or your eyes on the job itself, or whatever it is you're doing in life, and things will naturally start to roll out. You know, kind of follow the bouncing ball. That's what this job is all about. Just follow the bouncing ball. That's all you got to do. It's really not complicated. As long as you learn how to do everything, that's it. That's all it is. Follow the bouncing ball. But I mean, you might be watching this and you've never even been in a truck before. You're not a trucker. You work in an office or a warehouse or something, you know. And I know what that's like. Not working in an office. I don't do the office thing, but I've definitely worked in a few warehouses in my life. But anyway, yeah, just don't get down on yourself, man. Don't think that because you had a bad day, it's always going to be like that. You can't do that. You got to wake up every day and say, man, I hope for the best. Just hope for the best. You know, just keep a smile on your face. Try to stay positive. You know, just don't be one of those Debbie Downer people, man. Because people that are out there right now trying to do what I'm telling you, and if you come around them being a Debbie Downer, they're not going to want to be around you. They're going to slowly push you out of their life because you're ruining their bubble. You know, you're making their bubble toxic, and I don't want to be around people like that. I push them away. You know, I'd rather be by myself. And that's another thing. You got to find something that makes you happy. You got to find something that you can do by yourself when no one is around that makes you happy. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter, you know, as long as it makes you happy, that's all that matters. And don't go out of your way to make other people happy. That is the biggest waste of time. I'm telling you. If they're a person that really appreciates what you're doing for them, and you can see results in them, in their personality, in their daily life, then that's good. But if they're a person that's always coming to you with their problems, and for some reason they just always have drama, nothing ever gets better for them, push them out of your life, man. Those people are not going to get better. They are happily miserable. That's what you call those people, happily miserable. You know, they like it. They like the drama. They like complaining about things. They like always having something toxic in their life. It gives their sideways brain a purpose, you know? It's like, to normal people like you and me, we don't understand it because we're normal. You know, we don't want toxic garbage in our life every day. You know, I want to wake up and be happy. You know, I want to wake up and do things that I like. I don't want to deal with people and their drama and all that garbage. But the other thing I wanted to say is you really need to concentrate on what I think I'm going to call is balance of life. Balance of life is like you got your work responsibilities, you got your work life over here, and then you got your real life, the stuff that you want to do every day, on your days off, all the things that make you happy, the stuff like that you did when you were a kid, and you know, that stuff, the real you. You know, there's the work you and the real you. Those are two different people. You know, I'm a totally different person. If you gave me a bunch of money and no responsibilities, you know, I'd be a completely different person. You know. But that's one thing I think I would like to touch on is the balance of life, you know, and you can't let those things intersect and cross over each other. Years ago, I was working as a corrections officer. I worked as a corrections officer for a little over 3 years, about 3.5 years, and when you do that job is so toxic and just it makes you naturally miserable, that you're constantly bringing home all that drama into your other life, your normal life, your home life, and you're letting them butt heads, and it's making you into a crazy person. You know, you can't do that. You got to leave your work here and your home life, your natural life here. Never let them cross paths. You know what I mean? So, the other things are like your relationships, man. Your relationships with your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, husband, wife. You know, if those are going good right now, great, that's awesome. But you also need to set a respectable boundary on all those. A respectable boundary. If you, let's say, you're a woman and your husband feels, maybe you feel like your spouse is always getting their way, you know, and I understand, trust me, I've been with the same woman for 1,000,000 years, you know, no one person is, there's not going to be a perfect 50-50 happiness in the relationship ever. But if you constantly feel like you're taking a bended knee to this person, then you need to address that issue, you know? And if you confront your spouse over their behavior and how it's making you feel, and they like get so irritated and mad with you over a perfectly rational grievance, then you're not the problem, they are. You know that? I mean, a lot of people like to use the word narcissist nowadays. I think they just use that word because it makes them feel special. I don't know. But that is a real thing. You know, it didn't just drop out of the sky. If you confront your spouse with a rational approach, you know, a reasonable approach, don't cuss, be like, hey, this is what you're doing. This is how you make me feel. You know, this is what you need to be doing. This is how I want to feel. This is how, you know, this is how we need to have our relationship, you know. And if they get really mad and offended, then that person's really not for you. Money nowadays can be a huge thing. I'll be perfectly honest. Money was the root of like so many of me and my wife's arguments. When I'm making money, we're all getting along. When I'm not making money, the home life is just not fun at all, right? Because when you live in a house, like let's say you never have money, right? You're broke. You're used to being broke. You've been broke your whole life. Then all of a sudden you start making all this money, and you start getting acquiring things and getting accustomed to a different way of life, new things, going out to fancier restaurants, buying more expensive cars. You know, you're going to get used to that, and you're going to want it. You know, once you have it, you're going to be like, I don't ever want to go back to being broke. But then picture going back to being broke. How that's going to make you feel, right? And trust me, I've been there. I've been up here and I've been down here, and I've went back and forth. You know, right now I'm getting back up here. You know, but I mean, I know how to deal with both sides of the spectrum. You know, because I've been a victim to both sides. But I want you to know that money comes and goes, and if you have somebody that will stick with you, regardless of whether you have money or not, that's a good thing, man. You need to hang on to that person. You know, a person that, let's say to you ladies right now, if your husband comes home from work and he lost his job over something that maybe was out of his control or whatever, don't even bring it up right now. Wait like a day or two. Let him grieve. Let him cry. Let him sulk. And, you know, cook him his favorite meal. You know, just give him like a day or two. And then after that, be like, all right, you know what? I let you sulk. Now you need to man up. Now you need to go back out there and get a job. You know, but don't kick him when he's down. That's the worst thing you can ever do, man, because that man is never, ever going to forget that you kicked him when he was down. And us men, the ones that really work, we fall down, and sometimes we fall down hard. But when we get back up, we are not going to forget that you kicked us when we were down. Oh, I promise you, I'm not going to forget it, ever. And I'm never going to look at you the same. I'm never going to have the same amount of respect for you. I'm never going to love you the same. You're always going to be down here now to me forever because you kicked me when I was down. You don't ever do that. A lot of the reason why, well, I can tell you my personal experience. The reason why I had money problems in the past is because I was not spending my money responsibly. I was buying toys, motorcycles, brand new trucks, stuff like that. That's a huge issue, and I think in a lot of marriages and with a lot of guys, just buying shit you can't afford because you're trying to make up for something you don't have, or you're trying to find happiness in things. I think that was a huge issue for me, especially when I lived in Florida. I was so bored all the time. I didn't have any friends because every person I met down there was a broke loser. They spent all their money on drugs. That was the only thing in their life. That's all they cared about, was getting high all the time. My party days have been so far behind me. I wasted so much of my youth partying that I'm like, I just don't want to have anything to do with that anymore. So that could be like a whole other video in itself, is trash, toxic friends. But trying to find happiness, this is what I'm trying to say. Trying to find happiness in material items is a complete waste of time. It really is. It's not going to make you happy. I think really that the happiness comes from having something to do, something to entertain yourself, something to make you feel like you have a purpose. Like, you could go into a dealership and buy a brand new truck, and that's going to make you feel really good that day. But 3 days later, that happiness, that high that you had is going to be totally gone. And now you're going to have this really expensive boat anchor sitting in your driveway, right? I've been the victim of that so many times. You know, what you're really looking for that you don't even realize is that high from getting something new, something that makes you happy. So you need to look inside yourself and say, what's going to give me that high? You know, is it building something in the garage, doing a project, doing something with your kids, you know, bringing something new? That's what it really is. You just want something new in your life. That's all you want. You just want something new in your life. You know, a new car, a new truck is not going to, like I said, it gives it to you for that very short burst of time, that big burst of, what do you call it, euphoria. You know, I just call it a high. All right? And what I'm trying to say is you don't need to spend all that money and acquire all this new financial responsibility in something to get that high. You know, you need to look inside yourself and say, well, what really does make me happy? When you were a kid, what did you always want to do? What made you happy? You know, when I was a kid, dirt bikes were everything for me, man. Dirt bikes are still in my mind all the time. But I never have time to ride. I'm always working. But, I mean, I have a motorcycle. I ride when I'm home, which kind of fills that void, you know? So anyway, you really need to look at yourself and look deep down inside and say, what really makes me happy? And if you can find something out there, you know, even if it was something from when you were a child or whatever, something that makes you happy, then do it. But don't spend a lot of money on toys, man. That's not the way to acquire that high. You know, it's not gonna fill that void. And let me tell you this, when you go out and buy that, it's only one time. You know, unless you're a millionaire or something, that's fine. But when you're a regular dude like me, you get to go down to that dealership, you get to buy that thing one time, you know, rolling it off the showroom floor or whatever. You get that one time. But if you find something that makes you happy repeatedly, you get to do it all the time. You know? The other thing I wanted to get into is your friends, man. Friends can make or break you. They can make you really happy or really miserable. And if you're hanging out with the wrong friends, man, sometimes people get such a sense of pride and they get so stuck in their ego that they don't want to admit that what they're doing is really bad for them. They don't want to admit that the person they're hanging out with is actually a piece of crap, you know, and totally uses them. Because maybe they like how that person makes them feel when they're around. But that's only because you're bored or you're desperate to hang on to some kind of attention or companionship. That's a good way of putting it. You want that companionship. You want somebody to be there to fill that void. You know, you can find that so many places. That person that you're hanging out with, you don't need them. Especially if you feel like you're always doing what they're doing. Do you ever feel like that? You're like, how come every time I want to hang out with this person, I'm always doing what they want to do? How come we're always going where they want to go? You know, how come I'm always hanging out with their other friends? How come they never want to come hang out with my friends? You know, how come they never want to come over to my house? How come we always got a party over at their house? I know at least one of you out there knows what I'm talking about because I've been through it, man. Those people are garbage. Get them out of your life. And a week will go by, and I guarantee you they won't call you. They're not going to call you unless they need something. And most of the time, those people have nothing to offer you. They usually don't even have a driver's license, let alone a car. They can't hold down a job. The only money they have is the money they hustle. You know, they're always stuck on drugs or they're alcoholics. 99% of the time. That's how those people are. You know, because people that are financially responsible are the same ones that are not going to do that to you. You know, the ones that can hold down a job, the ones that, you know, have a sense of responsibility in their day-to-day life. So yeah, friends can be a huge make or break thing for your everyday life. You know, that's why I don't really have any friends. I don't go out of my way to make friends anymore. I mean, I have a couple of friends, people I talk to, maybe people I hang out with here and there. But I'm 41 now, and I don't go out of my way to make friends anymore because more often than not, they're usually disappointing. And the older you get, people are really set in their ways. So it's you know, if you want to be able to do things the way you want to do them all the time, that's fine. But don't expect to go make friends and think that that person is going to be totally down with what you're doing all the time. So anyway, I think the moral of this, or the whole point of this video is the balance of life. If you can figure out the balance of life, you know, you're pretty golden. Another big thing is, if there's something you really want to do, if you're working, or if you really want to figure out who your friends really are, or who's really down for you, disappear, man. Just disappear for like 3 to 6 months. Work on yourself. Work on your hustle. Don't feel like, see, this was my biggest thing back in the day. I could never do that because I was so worried about what I was going to miss. I was like, oh my God, if I do this, I won't be here at that party. I'm going to miss something. Or I want to go hang out with these people, even though in the back of my mind, I know they don't give a shit about me, you know, but I want to be there because I might miss something. I don't want to miss nothing. I want to be at the party, you know. Fuck that party. That party has nothing to offer you, man. You know what they're going to do? They're going to sit around, smoke and drink, get fucked up, wake up the next day with a hangover. They just do that over and over and over and over and over again their whole lives. You know, you're not missing a damn thing. And then they sit there and talk about, oh, I'm going to do this one day, I'm going to do this one day. No, you're not. You're going to be sitting here 10 years from now doing the same damn thing. So if you can disappear for 3 to 6 months and work on you, work on your hustle, you're going to come back a totally different person, and you're going to, you will have accomplished a good thing in your life, and maybe you're making more money, and then you're going to realize that you didn't need those people to begin with, you know? Like, I wish I could go back to my younger self and say all this stuff to my younger self, man, because I'd probably be a totally different person today. The only reason I turned out as good as I did is because I got good parents, you know? I had somebody to fall back on for positive information, you know? And I feel for a lot of you guys out there that probably don't have good parents, or, you know, you came from a broken home or something, you know? My heart really goes out to you because, you know, I can't imagine what that was like growing up for you. So, anyway, just work-life balance. Life balance in general. Your finances, your love life, your toys. You know, don't let all this stuff overcome you. Look at deep down in your soul, say, who am I really? You know, I don't need certain things and certain people to make me happy. You know, because if you're not happy deep down inside, all that stuff doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything for you. It's going to fill a very small void for a very short amount of time. But then you wake up the next day in your bed by yourself and you're right back to square one. So anyway, I just wanted to drop some knowledge real quick. If one person knows what I'm saying or is really listening to my message, then I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. I'm sorry about the lighting in this video. I know it's kind of irritating. I'm trying to work on that, but you gotta work with me because I'm in this little truck. But please like and subscribe. Please comment. I always appreciate your comments. Share my videos. Share them with someone. Please share this video with someone that you think might be going through some shit or something, you know? Someone that that you feel like is kind of not hopeless, but doesn't know which direction to walk in. You know, they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, you know? Anyway, common sense ain't common. Thank you.